Guys, welcome to Live with Kyle and Alex. Tonight's show is a brand new show, brand new day, live here in Tucson with my co-host Alex. Alex, what's going on over there?
Hey, life is good, except I wish I could go out in the daytime, but the sun is so amazingly hot, you can't go out. But I did sneak out a little bit, did a little social distancing, and I rode around a bit in the air conditioning just to get out. But it's hard out there, hard and hot.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So just what's happening in the world? I heard the mayor of Arizona, or the governor of Arizona, actually is telling people now that he's not going to allow masks on people anymore. He's not going to
Can you believe that?
Insane. It's kind of
and dumb, all of the cases are spiking, and he's telling people not to wear masks. You don't have to wear masks, and that seems to me like it's crazy to say, but it sounds like they're trying to do a little population control here and get rid of everybody.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Then Atlanta, Georgia just got hit with some people. I guess they started bringing down some other cop that decided to shoot down another black guy. Everything got out of war over there. Our world's crazy.
You're sleeping in the drive-through. Oh, it was insane. This world is, oh my goodness. In 74 years, I've never seen anything like this.
There you go. All right, let's get down to business. Let's start rocking with the show. The studio call-in number is 520-214-4439. You can now call into the show if you want to get your questions answered. You can also, that's the same as the texting number. You can also text in as well, get those questions answered as well. We are live. You can also comment on all the social media platforms that we are broadcasting on, which is YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, and Facebook. So we're on live on all 4 platforms. And now I just want to welcome. So tonight's guest, she is an athlete, a fitness, a spokesmodel, an actress. Please welcome Miss Tamara Mack. What's going on?
Yes, hello.
How you guys doing?
It's going.
Wonderful.
Good.
Now that you're here, we're a lot better.
Well,
a lot better.
Appreciate it.
Yes, indeed.
So you've been involved in entertainment a long time, from producing things to, just doing a bunch of live entertainment shows as well. How did you get your start in it?
I can't really say I was born into it because my parents aren't actors. My father, however, was a bodybuilder, and that's a bit of a showman all of itself. So when I grew up, he was part of the whole Venice Beach, Muscle Beach days in the 70s. And we had a gym outside and they had another gym. And we were fortunate at the time because there was a bodybuilder in town called Carlos Rodriguez. And he would bring in the Wiener Boys and bring in Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lou Ferrigno and Franco and all of them for shows here in town. And we were fortunate enough that we would have the after parties after the contest here at our home. So I was the little, 6-year-old running around with the plates of chicken, taking them to the bodybuilders and chasing the wives around saying, I want to be you someday, and having a good time. But I grew up watching them work so hard and chiseling and carving and performing and presenting. And, Arnold, for instance, we got very close to and would go to see him in California. And, he got involved in acting and he was doing a lot of that type of thing and would come out here to Tucson and vacation some. I think you've got some photos of him when I was with him in the apartment and at the Doubletree Hotel where he would come stay. And back in the day, you wouldn't know about this, Kyle, but they used to give memberships to people. So you could actually go to your hotels and have a membership to be at the pool. So all the kids were at the pool all summer long. So he would come and stay at the DoubleTree, and I would go visit with them and go see them when we were in Santa Monica back in the day of the real original Gold's Gym and then of course World's Gym. So I grew up around that, seeing all that, and just really appreciating and admiring all the work that those guys and the ladies too put into that. So that was kind of my entrance into entertainment and the movies and the acting. So I did a lot of theater growing up, what kids do, and getting involved in all of that. And it wasn't a little bit later, coming out of college, I was doing party design, which is, you know, something I've just kind of always done, and decided to open a business, and ended up doing more clothing than design work. And soon I was on the road choreographing fashion shows in the LA Mart in New York, doing spokesmodel talking and working with people in the fashions. And was fortunate that I was able to do my own clothing labels for Magnin and at the time they're no longer around, Nordstrom and some of those, and was able to do some clothing for some celebrities, which kind of put me back into some of that circle. I did some clothing for Arnold's daughters, Robin Williams' child, Melrose Place. We got picked up for to do some of their kids that actually never came to fruition, but it was a chance. So it was a lot of fun. So I kind of grew up doing all of that and didn't really get back into the fitness until a little bit later, after I was kind of burning out on the 20-hour days and the fashion world and running full speed ahead, and kind of looped back around to some of that. So I don't know if you've got a couple photos of that as we get closer, but then it was about 2005, Stallone, who was just getting ready to film Rocky Balboa, came out, and he had a magazine and a nutrition line called InStone he was launching. And so I got involved with that and competing for a chance for that particular gig, and ended up winning. There was 10,000 entries in that year, and I was able to place 10 in the 10 spots of that, and became a spokesmodel for his nutrition line. So it was a great opportunity. I mean, I idolized the man. Who didn't idolize Rocky? You know, we all grew up on him. Still, kids do today. And was able to go and travel and talk about his line and do trade shows and photo shoots and that type of thing. And that really kind of launched the fitness end of the entertainment part for me. And I kind of never looked back after that.
So how did you make the transition into film? How did that come about? Was that because Stallone, or?
I wish I could say it was Stallone. You know, I got involved actually in TV first. Started producing a television show. I was getting picked up to do commentaries and guest appearances and that type of thing. And just thought, well, let's do a show. And it was called Style to Fashion. And I combined fashion fit competitions. We did Arizona's Next Top Model series with models in different seasons. I would interview people, do commentary on the entertainment business and spoofs and that type of thing. And that went on for a while. Met a lot of people during that, and just found I really enjoyed that. During that time, I had met a gentleman who wrote horror films, and horror is a passion of mine. I'm a huge horror fan. So got involved with him, and got involved with one of his horror films was actually being filmed in Tucson that had been picked up. And then we decided to produce a film. It's called Dead on Sight. And it was a lot of fun. We brought in people from LA, did full casting for that, shot in a house out in Catalina. And it was actually, we shot it at a maggot farm. It was kind of an interesting story. But about 4 o'clock every afternoon, they would sell maggots for agricultural purposes and health purposes. But every day about 4 o'clock, the breeze would bring the smell of the maggot farm up to the shooting range. It just created a wonderful ambiance for the whole film.
Right.
But we did that, and then it just kind of burgeoned from there. We did Girls of Horror, a lot of shorts, film festivals, and then the Z. And that's been a labor of love. We've been doing for about 10 years now, production. And these microfilms are difficult to do on indie film, as everyone knows. And that we actually did do a movie premiere, went great, but we still wanted to tweak some of the horror scenes. And unfortunately, as small films suffer in kind of the technical aspect with audio and all of that, we lost some footage between editors. So we are still in process of re-editing to relaunch, and hopefully that's the big goal for the end of the year, is to get that back out in streaming.
Oh, right.
So a few projects.
Right.
So you're also an athlete. What other projects have gotten you involved in?
Um, well, during all that time after the Stallone, I continued to train, and that was always something I knew I wanted to do, was to compete, to actually get on stage. The bodybuilding was where my mind was at. But getting ready for film and that type of thing, I've always been very physical, and it was in martial arts and all of that, and got involved in stunt work, lights out fight team. So I was doing a lot of that kind of work. When we were working at a gym doing stunt choreography for a later film that I was fighting in, the gym owner was a national powerlifter and trainer, John Marshall, and he's like, "You need to powerlift. You're short physique. You're stocky. You're strong. You should try it." So I thought, well, sure. I like doing different things. So I started to powerlift as well, and found myself getting into actual competition. So I started competing in first in figure. In bodybuilding, we say bodybuilding, but women's, it's really, you see bikini, there's a wellness category, there's a figure category, then there's a physique. Women's bodybuilding's kind of gone away. It's dropped into physique now. And so I started with figure, but figure, you just get to do like 4 poses, and you work so hard to get on stage. And I was like, I want to pose. I want to get up there and do what my dad did. So that's physique. So I started training for that. So about half of the year I trained for physique to get on stage. And I've done several of the Ferrigno legacy competitions and that type of thing. And then got into powerlifting. And that's worked out really nicely. So I'm ranked number 2 in all the federations in the world, in one weight category, in the top 5 in another weight category. And I'll be getting ready for the Olympia here, which will be in December. It just got moved. So hopefully that'll go well this year too. So I've combined all of that and kind of tied it all together at this point in time. So it's a lot of fun.
So what's the market like in film for female bodybuilders? What's that like, the market in film for female bodybuilders?
It's definitely a niche. America's a little more comical the way they present it, I think. Yeah. Than you see overseas. I do a lot of music videos. They tend to like to use women bodybuilders in different odd kind of scenarios, because they're much more stylistic in music videos. So I've gotten to do several of those for Beware of Darkness, Pussy Riot, Tickle Torture, some others, and that's a lot of fun. And it's usually very physical. We're in our competition suits and we're carrying the men around or whatnot, having a good time with it. They're a lot of fun. Women empowerment type thing. The projects overseas, some I've done in French magazines or for Japan, they look at it very differently, and it's more about personal empowerment and sculpture and that type of thing. So aesthetically, it's approached a little bit differently than you see here. But in all cases, for me, I'm in a niche category. I've accepted that. I can't play the normal house mom, but I'm in competition shape, so I go with what works, and it's a lot of fun to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to go with what works.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
What do you do actually to compete in? You make a living at it?
Very few people make a living at it. It's not something you ever go into to make money. It costs more money than anything. There's so many costs involved with doing it. But I am a pro power lifter, and part of, for any athlete, it's in sponsorships. That's where the importance is. Very few paid sponsorships. Maybe a company will bring you on and pay some entries for you to compete. Mostly it's in product and gear and that type of thing, which is a little bit about what I'll tell you about what we do. But, I represent supplement company will sponsor me. A nose torque, ammonia company will sponsor me. So, the key is you want to get the athletes out there that are competing and showing the product, and people will say, hey, if I use your product, can I do what they do? And so that's really where the heart of it is. When you get to the certain pro levels, yeah, there are some money packages involved, but that's very, very small, top elite group that very few people ever get to.
Yeah. Oh, also you have your own fitness company, Unbreakable Gear. Can you tell us a little bit about that? That sounds interesting.
Yeah. It's a great company. We've had it now, going on 6-7 years now. And it started as a t-shirt company we actually purchased because they were a sponsor of John Marshall, my coach and fiance. And it was like, well, it's a gear, not t-shirts. So let's make gear. So we actually design and have it manufactured, and gear meaning knee wraps. wrist wraps, knee sleeves, elbow sleeves, weightlifting belts, things that are going to help lifters protect their bodies while they're lifting and do better PRs and make records and win events. So we do a lot of that. I get to do some shirts, gets me back to some of my fashion and have fun with that. So we have a apparel line as well. And then we also have an athlete team. We have our UG Nation of supporters and our email list that I handle. And then we work at all the booths. We put up booths, we go to the Olympia and those different kind of things, Europas, and set up and, sign autographs and represent our athletes and make sure that they're winning and doing their best.
Okay. So, what is the favorite thing that you, as far as your fitness or acting and bodybuilding, what is your favorite of those? I mean, is there a favorite? What do you prefer, one over the other? Or?
It's hard. If I did, I think I could focus better than I do.
Yeah.
I love being able to do as many things as I can do. I like having as many hats in there as I can. I love training. I love being very physical and pushing myself to the limits. So that is therapy as much as anything for me, getting in the gym and really working hard. What I've noticed, and I'm sure you know this too, doesn't matter how hard you work, whatever you do, doesn't mean anybody's going to recognize you, appreciate you, or anything else in life. And that's a hard lesson, and it can really get you down sometimes. When I go to the gym, the work I put in the gym, I will always get results. Doesn't mean I win. Doesn't mean somebody likes the way I look, but I know I worked hard and I get the results back. So for me, that's an important part of what I'm doing. So if I can put that into film, have a good time, meet talented people, and watch it later, hey, that's even better.
What's life mean in Arnold? How is Arnold?
Well, I knew him as a kid, and I see him now. I haven't talked to him in years, but I laugh. He was one of those. No, you're not going to do this. We would go to breakfast, and I'd be like, I'm having pancakes, and my mother would say, I'm going to have this. Oh no. And then he would completely order and redo everything that we were doing. So, and I think he's probably still that man today. Very, very giving, very comical. I will say, I do remember. My father, after a contest, asked Arnold what he thought of how he looked, how he did online. And Arnold said, "You're too fat." And my dad was devastated. And of course, in our terminology, that means you weren't lean enough, you weren't cut enough. But that's not how Arnold would say it. Arnold would be like, "No, you just, you weren't there." And that's how he is. Like, he's straightforward and he says it like it is. And I doubt that's changed a lot.
Yeah.
What kind of training does it take to be a bodybuilder?
What kind of what?
What kind of training does it take to be a bodybuilder?
Diet's a huge part of it. Unlike power, you're still eating for strength and good, building muscle and that type of thing. Bodybuilding, you're going to have to do things so that when you're ready to actually compete and go on stage, you got to be a certain body fat level. You have to be a certain amount of leanness. So it's a very clean diet. They say, abs are made in the kitchen. You got to have the muscle, and then you got to be able to shred it down so you can see the muscle. So that's a big part of it. So you're building a lot of size, and then you're cutting it down to get to the core. I call it carving and shaping.
Yeah. I guess eating right and everything, that covers that. Well, you should eat right anyway, but bodybuilders, oh yeah.
It's totally different world, I'll tell you. The Tupperware, the bags of meat. Not pretty, but you can't do it year round, but you stay healthy at least, and that's part of the challenge, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. So I guess you're like everybody else. You want to eat all this other stuff that you shouldn't be eating. That's pretty tempting, isn't it? I mean, even for a bodybuilder.
Oh yeah. No, it's hard. And I think everybody's got with the quarantine 19 going on. But no, it is hard. And I know as I get closer to showtime, when I'm having to actually measure food and cut things out to go on stage, I'm literally dreaming food. I could smell a piece of bread across the room. It's funny how food kind of becomes, that's all you think about. What are you going to eat when the show's over? Yeah. You got your line of foods you're going to have. They're packed in bags. You're ready to go. And you can't eat much because your stomach's shrunk and you get sick and everything else. But boy, it's great thinking about it.
Yeah. I guess it's like, I can't have it, so it's going to make you want it more.
Absolutely. And it's an old con, well, I got where I was thin before, so I can eat whatever I want right now because I know how to take it off. Unfortunately, a lot of
Yeah.
people, at least first-time competitors don't ever take it off again.
No,
So
oh,
that's
right.
part of that challenge.
Uh, absolutely.
It's fun.
Yeah.
What,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to think what was it like, what kind of, do you have to eat all lean foods?
well, yeah, lean's important because of body fat, obviously. But again, a bodybuilder diet's different than a powerlifter diet too, versus the CrossFit. I mean, every sport's going to have different needs and how the diet, what they're going to need to eat, the
Sure.
nutrients that they take in. But yeah, your leaner meats, obviously, your higher protein, eating more often, portion control, but every 2.5 hours. Programming it that way. So all those things are super important, and there's always staples in everybody's diet that you'll see, the food prepping on Sunday with hundreds of Tupperware across the counter and that type of thing. So, our little bags are gallons of water, you can see them coming. But do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Does it take just a regular gym to do it all of it?
You can. I mean, when I won the in-stone competition, now I wasn't bodybuilder size, but I was doing that out of my home before I finished off and joined a gym because I wasn't really big. If you're looking to build on a lot of size, yeah, you want all the different range of equipment and that type of thing. And that's been part of the challenge right now for so many people who can't get in the gym. You can only do so many water jug lifts, curls, and a 20-pound dumbbell repetitions and that type of thing to get to where you want. You can do it for a while, and it's good to switch up and everything. But yeah, you need a gym, and really to compete, you need a good trainer.
Yeah, and I know water is a big part of the body. I found that out the hard way. I went on a trip and with my dad, and I across the desert, and I didn't drink a lot of water, and I wound up with a stroke.
Oh, that's not good.
So, yeah, it's kind of like you live and learn.
Yeah,
and thank God I'm back from it.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I mean, and that's the hard thing, and especially when we're out here, it's so easy. By the time you realize you're thirsty, they say you're already dehydrated.
Absolutely.
So cramping is a big part of that, and trying to stay away from that. Your body hydrated.
Yeah. For some reason, I can't picture you as a horror film person. You say you were doing horror films?
Yeah. I've always been a huge fan. I'm with the horror.
Really? You look so nice.
Oh, see, now to have those pictures up on the screen, I'm spitting blood and eating people. So
yeah. But, now you want to talk out of character. I mean, that's just, I could never imagine you doing that kind of thing. You don't look the part.
Really. I think for me, I had to do a music video, and the guy's like, okay, I want you to be soft and sexy. And I'm like, can I spit and growl? And that's what I do best. But
yes. Yeah, absolutely. Because you walk in a room, it's definitely soft and sexy, and then you see a spit blood and guts and gory. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to come see the Z when we re-premiere it. But I'm the lead cannibal, so I get to get fun screen time.
That old "don't judge a book by its cover" kind
Absolutely
of thing.
not. Dangerous.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Can you name any of the red carpet events at the Fox?
Oh gosh, I've been there almost 10 years, and we've done movie red carpets. One of the things that I love to do is promote special events around film, as you know, Kyle, and doing the horror events and that type of thing, and bringing in actors and local actors in costumes to portray characters from the film. So it becomes an interactive event. I have a lot of memorabilia, all memorabilia displays, signatures, recordings from artists, and then people can interact, photo ops with the actors. So that's one of the things that I love to do. Kyle's been kind enough to come in, and he's been the grandpa from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre with his hammer, which we had a photo of. Awesome. And the Greatest Showman was one of our best events, sold out. We had people waiting outside, and we did the tall man, short man, so we just had lots of great events there. Mostly what we've done at the Fox are concerts. That's kind of our bread and butter. So getting to work with those artists and the musicians is always a lot of fun. So we're hoping, come January, we'll be geared up and ready to roll.
How long did you do stunts? I think did you say you did stunts? How long did you
Yeah.
do that?
I've been doing that, oh gosh, probably after Dead on Sight. Dead on Sight, I was killed in the first few minutes, and I always say everybody should die once in a film. But once I went down screaming and yelling and crying, I thought, no more. I'm a fighter after that.
Yeah.
So I got involved in mixed martial arts, and out of that, I hooked up with some people, and we formed a stunt group that trained for
Really?
stunt fighting. So I did that for several years, and would come in, played a boy or whatever it was in costume and mask, and would do fighting and that type of thing, fight scenes. And it's just a lot of fun. It's, gets rid of some aggression. Like I said, I love being physical, and you don't see a whole lot of female, more so now you see more females doing it, but small indie films, if you can come in and provide them some of that great stunt fighting, they're pretty welcome to take that on.
Yeah, I think that's very true, because I think I did stunts for a while.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And for a long time, you didn't see a lot of ladies doing stunts. Then they came up with the Stunt Women's Association and things like that. But for a while, it was a man's thing. Men were running pretty much everything. But at last, they found out where the power really is.
It's something, if I could go back in time, I'm too old, I don't heal as quick anymore. But, if I could go back and be over in LA and really be working in that industry, that would be a lot of fun to really be doing that a lot more full time than throwing some punches here and there now. We'll see.
LA is where the stuff is happening.
Yes, exactly.
Go ahead, Alex. I don't want to cut you off.
No, I'm just saying LA is where the stuff is happening. So, well, it's happening quite a few places now.
Yeah, well, maybe New Mexico will pick up some with what's going on now, a little bit more. We'll have to see what happens. And I always tell people, it's great. I can get on the road midnight, be in LA for dawn, do a day gig or shoot for 2 days and drive back to work. But that's hard to do. And unfortunately, with commercials and music videos, they change everything. They commit to days and they call you and say, oh, no, it's not today, it's tomorrow. And all of a sudden, everything's out the window. So you really got to be there to do it if you want to do it full time and put your heart and soul in it. And I get to do it once in a while. It's a lot of fun, but yeah.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on film and studios after this whole pandemic is over?
Oh gosh, that's such a huge question. I mean, even for the live performance arts, we're just shaking our heads. Sure. Yeah, I mean, there is some filming, small groups now, and it's opening up, and certainly in other places. And indie are going to be a lot more prosperous right now and able to do things than the studios are going to venture into, I'm sure. Time's going to tell. I don't know. I don't know if anybody knows. Everybody's kind of shaking their head right now. Yeah.
Exactly. I have been asking that question for a while, and I just don't see how it could come back. I know it won't come back the way it was, but I mean, thing that is really puzzling me: how do you do a movie without a love scene?
Yeah,
and a love scene is going to be kind of tricky during this pandemic here.
All CGI now.
Well, I mean, they have the green light to do it right now anyway, so.
Yeah, they have the green light, but the pandemic doesn't have a green light to stop.
Yeah.
So that's the thing,
People will be signing a lot more waivers, I'm sure, on releases and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like the mayor of Tucson says, don't wear a mask. You don't have to wear a mask, but as his name is spiking, he has a green light to take off the mask, but the pandemic has its own agenda.
Right.
Yeah.
And we, so I don't know, that kind of thing just drives me insane. But what do I know,
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta not think about, we have to roll with it. I don't know what to say.
Yeah. We just gotta live our lives. That's all we can do,
Crazy.
So what's next for you? What's upcoming? What's next? What's happening?
Well, like I said, I mean, I'm heavy training for the Olympia, it usually is in September. So got till December to do some good things. So get strong. Working on that. Of course, trying to get that film, the Z, wrapped up so we can get that released here for Halloween and out this season. And I'm just working on Unbreakable Gear. We're trying to get into a lot more wholesale, more gyms, get a lot more
Right.
exposure. We're very big in Texas and West Coast, really trying to get out to East Coast and probably, get in the car and get on the road and get out and meet some new athletes and new people this year.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. All right.
Alex, you got any more questions?
Hey, I actually have a ton of questions, but I think they're basically just about life that people just don't have the answer to. Like, how do we go back to doing this, and how do we go back to doing that? But I gotta say, it's just a joy to have you here, Tamara. It really is.
Thank you. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have in your Kyle, do we have your websites to put up, or
Yes.
where people can find you? And
Yep. Yeah. In fact, speaking of that, where can people find you?
yeah, where can people find you?
Well, unbreakablegear.com is our website for our lifting gear. And then I'm on YouTube, Be Unbreakable, Tamara Mack. And of course, all the social networking you can follow and do a lot of the motivational stuff and post what's happening and some of my interpretation of life these days. But yeah, and I think Kyle will have it on his Facebook and you can link it
Right.
there.
Absolutely. Well, Tamara Mack, absolutely. This is a blast. Absolutely. Love having you here,
That was fun.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Fabulous.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. Extraordinarily, thank you.
Yeah. And we'll see you at the Z premiere, right?
Oh, absolutely.
There you go.
Hey, God bless. Really appreciate it. Thanks for being on. Yeah.
Yeah. So Friday night.
So Kyle.
Yes.
Friday night. That's what I was going to ask you. Friday night.
I think we still got a show. We have a guest. Not quite sure which way it's going to go yet, but it's Bill Delps, all the way from Ravenhurst, Family Classic Hot. He's going to talk to us direct from Trail Dust Town, and tell us what's up and see what's happening. Anything on your end, Alex, you want to say for the video?
Well, hey, things on my end are pretty great. I'm just going to say things on this end is great, even with the pandemic and even with the hot sun and everything. Life is still great because, it's all what you make it. It's not what happens to you. It's your attitude about what happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching Live with Kyle and Alex every Monday and Friday on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Periscope. And be sure to subscribe everywhere you can and keep watching.
Thank you. Good night. Appreciate it.
Good night.